And we are super excited to welcome you to the evolution of solar panels and why should you care. So I have a little bit of a problem. Some people have to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. I have to go to Solar Panel Anonymous. I love solar panels so much that one day on the beach, my wife said to me, in order for me to look at her, she would have to put solar panels on her swimsuit. And that was really basically the impetus for the invitation that we have had today. So I wanted to say a special shout out to everyone who's joining us today. And we've got some real Mythbuster stuff at the end of the show. But in the beginning, we've just got to take a step back and understand where we've come from. So I absolutely love power. I love solar panels. I love solar panels so much because they keep my beers cool, they keep my house and my water warm, and they keep my car fully charged. And it's just an incredible technology for me that has changed my life personally and empowered myself and my family in ways that I just truly can't understand. But we have to take a step back in order to understand the huge gain that we're going to be showing today. It's important for us to put it into perspective, to take a look at the bones of our ancestors for the past 170 years, what they have done and sacrificed to get us to this magnificent point today. So if we go back to 1839 to Mr. Edmund Becquerel, who by accident was studying the different types of conductive material and semiconductive material, stumbled on and first came across the photovoltaic effect. But as this was not his main point of reference, he shelved solar panels in the bottom drawer of history and carried on with his mainstream work. Subsequently, in 1879, a property developer in New York had this amazing idea to place solar panels on the roof of his development rather than using the clunky generation equipment that was available in the day. But unfortunately, these panels only had a 1% efficiency, and the project was a total disaster, didn't amount to much, and back into the bottom drawer of history, solar panels went. Go forward a few decades, and in 1939, Bell Labs in the US opened that bottom drawer and pulled out the study of solar panels and started researching and developing solar panels as we know them today. They achieved a 6% efficiency at that point, which is incredible, a 600% output growth in solar from the previous event just some years before. But unfortunately, World War II broke out, and we all know what happened. Every single one of the resources of every country in the world went off to looking at how to improve and develop weapons and planes, and once again, back to the bottom drawer for my beloved solar panels. But in the late 50s, Sputnik arrived and sent the world into absolute panic. And suddenly, there was a huge emphasis on getting satellites into space that could run continuously and not just for 15 days like Sputnik had run in the beginning. And so Bell Labs went into that bottom drawer and yanked out that solar panel research and went fully back into studying solar panels and creating solar panels as we know today. And most of the early satellites, including now for the space station, could not be in space perpetually, being self-powered, because running an extension lead from here to the space station or from here to the edge of the universe is a little bit difficult and maybe a little bit unpractical. You know, as a kid, I wished there was one so that I could climb my way up into space, but alas, for some reason, it just doesn't work. So I'm very, very grateful to Sputnik and the space station for reinvigorating solar panels as we know them today. So how did it all start and how did we move along? first, we had polysilicon solar panels. Poly meaning single, sorry, correction, poly meaning plural or many. So what they did is basically took semiconductor material, crushed it into a big pile of stuff, rolled it flat, put some silver buzz bars over it, and bada bim, bada boom, bada bang, we suddenly had solar cells as we know them today. Unfortunately, solar cells are incredibly brittle. If you pick one up in your hand, they're going to crumble, quite literally, just crack. I was going to pick one up here today with this little guy here. Casey said to me, but you said last time she fiddled with one in her hand, it basically cut her fingers. So we decided to give that a pause for today. So in order to strengthen these panels, manufacturers applied laminate to it, the same way we laminate a piece of paper to make it strong for use in a restaurant or an airline seat back for the in-flight safety regulations, for a piece of something that's going to be used frequently to make it stronger. So they put laminate on the bottom and glass on the top, and solar panels as we know them today were born. So it was incredible. If we take a look back to the early 2000s, solar panels were $7 a watt. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you just go $7 times 20, it's 140 Rand a watt, and 140 times 600, you're looking at an exceptionally high price for a solar panel. But in the early 2011, 2012 period, polysilicon solar panels had dropped sufficiently in price to enable higher levels of efficiency. That meant that daytime solar power became equal to or cheaper than the grid daytime power. And that is when solar around the world gained impetus. If you take a look at some of the most successful and well-established companies in South Africa today, they came into fruition around the time that solar became economically viable, around 2012, 2013, 2014. So if you had poly panels at that time from the manufacturers in China, you had a market edge over guys bringing them for Europe. At that stage, we were worried about Chinese quality. We look back and we can see that that was a huge area in our ways, that their panels have absolutely been magnificent and have wiped the floor with their German counterparts. So why are we telling you all this today? The real thing is knowledge is power. And if you have this knowledge, my hope is that it helps you get a competitive edge in the marketplace, where you know a little bit more about the industry that we're working and the major engine that drives everything, and that this competitive advantage helps you in the same way it helped us when we were solar installers, because we got our hands on mono silicon panels before the market, and we got them at the same price as poly. And in essence, at that point, we could show you that our mono panels that were made of a singular material were much more robust and much more stable. So they, basically mono is a big ingot of material, and that they take and they slice, like we slice a loaf of bread, into incredibly thin slices, laminate the back, put glass on front, and suddenly we had a 2 to 3% jump in solar panel output at the same price. More power on our roof meant more power for less for our customers. Happier customers meant more referrals for us, and bada bim, bada boom, bada bang, so our business started to roll, and so our business started to grow. So after poly, then mono, we moved to what we like to call PERC. PERC solar panels stand for passive emitter rear side contact. We still have PERC as the predominant technology in solar panels today. So it's called PERC mono for a reason. PERC, passive emitter rear side contact, refers to the reflective printed surface on the back that reflects short wavelength light back through the panel, and at this stage that gave us a huge jump in solar output. If you had PERC panels as opposed to mono panels at the time, rinse, wash and repeat, you had a competitive edge, or we had a competitive edge in the marketplace, and knowing this and having this ahead of the market is what drove our business. So from PERC, we went to half cell. What we're looking at here, in essence, is we have a full cell typical panel. You can see that it's mono because the corners are cut off. So you're seeing a panel cut off here where the corners are cut off. And Cherie's going to come around and show us this panel close up here, where we have basically gone to a half cell. A half cell is just this guy cut into two, and you can see the mono origins of the cell with the corners cut off. And by cutting the cell in half, we reduced the resistance, the cell wall resistance of the wire that it's in. And by reducing the resistance of the solar panel, of the wall of the solar panel, of the resistance of the cable, we had a major jump in solar panel output. And if you had half cell technology back in the day, as opposed to the market that was still in full cell, bada bim, bada boom, bada bang, you were in business. Your customers were happier, getting more for less, more power on their roof for less, rinse, wash, and repeat, happier customers, more referrals, more business for us, and the cycle continued. So the reason for us today of sharing you this is we're going to be talking about what the next evolution is, what's going to give you guys an edge in the marketplace. So after half cell, basically, we've been walking on the bones of our ancestors. We've been enjoying the success from Mr. Becquerel all the way through to today. But unfortunately, every industry hits bumps along the way. They hit literally, if you think about the car industry, we have suspension because cars at high speed went from spring to oil suspension because those springs couldn't handle the speeds that cars were evolving to. And the same is with solar. We've been hitting bumps along the way. And one of the main bumps that we have is been the backsheet of a solar panel. Though this has driven cheap, cost-efficient solar panels into the market, the weakness or the dark underside of our industry has been the laminated backsheet. And this was first discovered when panels were installed on ground mounts outside in basically the desert. Sand blew up underneath the back of the solar panel and acted as sandpaper or abrasive agent, and very, very quickly wore the back of the solar panel off. This basically can clearly be seen in South Africa's first mass solar rollout. We were all very proud of PERC, and PERC that was installed in 2017 very quickly suffered massive backsheet failure, and I really feel sorry for the investors who invested into that plant because they probably had to replace and repurchase all of those panels, and that basically, in essence, breaks the promise of us empowering the market and providing long-term, incredible returns for our client. So the industry took a back step at that point. We stub our toe. Continual, perpetual improvement means we learn along the way. So what the industry then did is they said, why don't we just take a layer of glass and place it on the back of the solar panel? By playing a layer of glass on the back, it's far stronger than plastic. When that sand blows, that abrasive action won't destroy the solar panel, and life will be beautiful and things will carry on. And this has been confirmed by DuPont. DuPont has run a 10-year study where they found up to a 30% failure rate in solar panels, and the predominant cause of that is being solar panel backsheets. So we're really excited that the market has moved on and learned from its mistakes, and instead of having a panel with a laminated backsheet like this guy, the industry basically moved to producing solar panels that have glass on the front and glass on the rear, eliminating that stub of your toe as we go along. But from a personal perspective, we were a solar installation company for over a decade, and glass panels came along and saved my life. I didn't realize it at the time. We started installing all black solar panels out in around Cape Town. And within 4 years or so, we started seeing a discoloration of the back sheet at the back. And this was our flagship installation at an estate in Paarl. And unfortunately, every single solar panel from a tier 1 manufacturer delaminated over time, and we've had a total installation failure. The second part of it is really more difficult for me to share. We're very proud of our work as solar panel installers, but unfortunately, we experienced our own solar panel fire. So probably we had an MC4 failure underneath the solar panel, and if it wasn't for the solar panel being glass at the time, I probably wouldn't be here today giving this talk, because it may have meant the end of our company, because what the solar panels do is once we light one, it provides the fuel for all of the other solar panels on the roof. And you'll notice that if you look at solar panel fires, typically the entire roof is burnt while the building underneath is intact. So what we did then is we ran a quick little experiment at the office. We simulated the solar a candle underneath a laminated panel and a glass-on-glass panel, and running this little time lapse to show what happens and how basically glass panels literally saved our company and everybody who works here's income, and more importantly for our client, it didn't take that production facility down. Life continued. We just replaced one panel, we rewired everything, and I'm so very, very grateful that others before me stumped their toe and that we could be the beneficiaries of that. So let's talk about basically why we are here today. We are here today to talk about the next big jump in evolution. It has got me so super excited that we've reached the next pivot point that's going to give us, and by extension yourself and our clients, the benefit of more power for longer. So the whole impetus is today we're going to focus on showing off panels and panel efficiency, but really by them having a glass backsheet, it's not only next level efficiency, it's next level efficiency for longer. And basically there's a well-known company in South Africa that ran an investment ad that said, consistency is the only currency. So what we've had on panels that have a laminated backsheet, they unfortunately decay up to 4.5% in their first year of operation. Whereas if we use a glass panel, it decays around 0.2 to 0.4%, basically meaning more power for longer. So what we're going to do now is we're going to be doing some internal Mythbusters type presentation stuff here at the office. So we are in a live warehouse and people are actually working around me downstairs. So if there's a bit of noise in that, really apologize. And basically now we're going to jump through and show you why we have got you guys all here today. So what we have on the right here is we have a PERC mono bifacial glass-on-glass panel from a tier 1 manufacturer. And we've got the next generation of solar panels, an Aiko solar panel, which basically takes the same type of technology and is taken all of the buzz bars from the front of the solar panel to the rear of the solar panel. And my explanation for this is that we've had solar panels in the early days. They were one buzz bar solar panels. So the buzz bar is what the electrons travel down. They are like the solar panel equivalent of the N1 freeway. Closer up on the solar panel, if you come a little closer, Cherie, it might be difficult to see. We've got tabs. Tabs are the country roads. So what we have, like we have if we have a single lane highway, we in essence will have congestion on these roads and the electrons can't get around. So what the industry did then is they increased the number of freeways. So you'll see this example. It's a 5 buzz bar panel. So 5 buzz bars basically is 5 freeways. It's basically like taking the N1 or N2 freeway and opening it up to 5 lanes, which means just like us trying to get to work, electrons can get around faster and more efficiently on our solar panels. You'll see on this guy here, closer up if you don't mind coming again, Cherie, we have an 11 buzz bar panel, and you can see lots of little country roads, and the technical term are tabs or fingers that are basically connecting it. Unfortunately, what we're doing, this is like us trying to grow basically grass on our field to feed our cows, but we keep paving the road. So you'll see on this solar panel, there is even more buzz bars and more tabs and more buzz bars and more tabs. It means we are paving our green fields more, or in essence, in our industry, we're providing more shade on top of the solar panel. And shade on top of the solar panel is obviously counterintuitive to what we're trying to do. By increasing the efficiency of the panel, we're also increasing the shaded area of the solar panel. And what we're also doing that is that if we have a collision and a taxi breaks down on this lane, the same principle applies that if we have a collision on this road, we slow everybody else down as they are traveling on the same highway. And what we're going to do is show you a demonstration in real time. Super excited, going to be risky doing a demonstration here. With this very, very sophisticated piece of cardboard, we're going to simulate a big tree growing over our solar panel and shading our solar, and seeing what the impact of shade is on our panel and how it affects our output and our production. And by moving the buzz bars completely underground in our installation, what the benefits are, because when that accident happens and we're riding on the tube underground, does the accident on top of the road or on top of the land have an impact on us while we are basically sitting in the tube? And so we're going to put that to the test now and see if we have an accident on top of the solar panels, is it going to have an impact on the flow rate? So what we've got is 2 water pumps that are directly connected to our 2 solar panels. The one on this side of the screen is our PERC mono bifacial glass-on-glass module. The one here is our Aiko all back contact, or as I like to call them, underground solar panel, where all of the roads have been moved downwards. So if I basically take this piece of cardboard and I have an accident on the panel, in essence, we shade that solar panel, immediately you can see the flow rate on this panel decrease. So it's just like us on the N1 or the N2, we're driving into work and there's a taxi on the lane or a truck or something, and the traffic is slow. If I take that accident away, immediately you'll see the flow rate on that panel start to increase as traffic flows as normal. So now let's do the risky one and see if Aiko is going to live up to what I've been saying. So we're going to have the same accident here, and bada bim, bada boom, bada bang. All of our people on the subway are carrying on to work without hindrance. There is virtually zero impact of the flow rate on our guys that are basically traveling not just on one day, but for the rest of our natural lives. So what we've got now is we're going to throw another test and say we have a diagonal accident, and we cover across the solar panel this way, and you can see the flow rate on that panel dramatically increasing. Now we're going to try the accident over here, and you can see there's virtually no difference in the flow rate on the Aiko panel. So traveling underground, sure as, I wanted to use another word, but it sure beats sitting in the congestion above ground. So this breakthrough in underground technology is the next evolution that's going to give us the edge in the marketplace. By combining this with underground and glass, we're going to provide our customers with more power for much longer. So I'm going to be a bit nasty and mean and actually just cover the diodes here on it. And you can see as I cover the diode, we basically have no flow rate. And now immediately as I take it off, we've got flow rate again. And I'm going to be mean and see it over here. And you can see, even with covering the diodes on the underground solar panel or the all back contact solar panel, we're having minimal impact on our solar. So that was really, really, really super to see. I'm so glad that it worked, because doing this live, gets you a little twitchy. And this basically is a very neat trick. So what we've done is, outside of our offices, over the past 3 days, we installed basically 2 solar panels. We installed a 615 watt tier 1 N-type solar panel compared to a 610 watt panel from Aiko. And we wanted to see what the real world difference was in the output. And this is what's got me more excited than this little demonstration here today. So what we've got is that if you have a look on the screen, you'll see that on the first day we had a 40 watt difference in output between our solar panels. So on our Aikos, we were getting 610 out of a 605 watt product, and on our equivalent tier 1 N-type panel at 615 watts, we were getting 570 watts. And that is a 7% difference, even with the one panel being slightly less performance than the other. So who is Aiko, and where did they come from, and why am I so super excited? So Aiko is been one of the largest cell manufacturers in the world since 2009. They have been supplying solar cells to most of the industry's tier 1 companies. And they developed all-back contact panels, which is nothing new, which has been in the market for years now, but they developed it at a highly competitive, efficient manner. And by developing it in that efficient manner is why we suddenly can get excited today. Because if the panel was double the price, the 6 or 7% efficiency gain does not matter. So let's have a look now, and what we're going to do is we're going to basically move from here and do some real-world glass-on-glass reliability tests. We've seen a lot of Aiko propaganda on the internet, and we wanted to, just like this, try it at home. And this is not based on anything scientific. This is us just having a bit of fun to demonstrate how tough glass-on-glass solar panels are and why they make such a difference by combining the latest technology of underground or all-back contact solar panels combined with glass-on-glass is the next evolution in panels. So we're going to flip around to this side of where we are. And we wanted to pick up the back of the solar panel. Cherie, if you can come and film with the back here, please. No, the back, please. And we wanted to demonstrate that we've got nothing underneath the panel. So we're going to place it back down. And now we're going to have some fun on top of this panel. So Nick is going to basically do some BMXing on this bicycle. I've seen videos of this for years, so I'm super excited to try it here. And off we go. We're wiggling across that panel, and thank goodness it didn't break. So give it some hoofing there, and try not to fall off. And wow, that is super. So we're going to show you an action motion replay while we're doing that. And we're going to then be setting up for the next shot. So Casey, can you just run that action motion replay? And we're going to be moving on to our next demonstration. So there you can see what amazed me is that the solar panel is barely flexing underneath, but you can see there's no sand or no trick holding it in place. And so that was kind of fun. And then after Nick did this, he thought, let him see how you can jump on the solar panel. So if we just get Nick there, and he's going to do some demonstration for us and give us some jumping. And yeah, okay, so fantastic. So that was just a nice add-on trick that just happened by accident. So we thought we'd share that with you today. And we're just going to show that to you in slow motion while we are busy setting up the next part. So what we've got here for the next part is, let's just finish that replay, is what we've got here is we have a because we don't have a solar panel cannon. We have a, just show the, yeah, high compression paintball gun. And we're going to have a bit of fun here. We've got a camera here, so Nick, just please don't shoot your phone. And basically, we're going to have some fun there and shoot the glass and just see what happens. So, can you see in there, Cherie? Yeah. First time. Okay, kaboom. Okay, because that's so fast, Casey's going to give us a replay there just for a bit of fun.
We're going to go to shooting the solar panel.
Yeah, but we just want to show the replay. Okay, no replay? Okay, cool. All right, so what we're going to do is do the same. And Cherie, can you just come around here and go at this angle across the solar panel so we can see it getting ready? Go a little closer, or let me do it. You a bit worried? Okay, let's go there. Safety glasses on. Where are you shooting, Nick? Up or down? Okay, pointing there. Off we go. And got a little bit of a fright there. That was nasty. Something hit me on the head. And how do we look there? Yeah. So this is not scientific or anything. We're just having a bit of fun, but we're showing a bit of panel durability. And while we've got this here, let's flip the panel around. It's just a nice close-up view. So here you can see basically we have the Aiko solar panel with what I call the underground cell. So there is no shading on the cell, which in my perspective is avoiding the traffic jams. That's just my interpretation of it. It's also avoiding solar panel hotspots. So when we have traffic accidents or there's debris on a panel, that's what's creating the temperature differentiation and creating the hotspots on our panel. And if we have a look underneath the panel, this is really where the beauty is happening. We've got all of the freeways underground. And the freeways, as you'll notice, are thicker. And the country roads, the tabs, are thicker as well because there's no worry about shading the front of the cell. So just an incredible evolution of tech. And so what we're going to do now is we showed you the fire before of the solar panel with a laminate. So we're just going to have a bit of homemade fun there, and Nick's going to be getting ready and give it some hoofing there. Sure. Scary stuff. Okay, flip it around, please. That is not fun standing here. It's hot in the jungle. And go again. Yeah. So that just shows the durability of glass, and primarily this provides our clients with an incredible amount of safety. So thank you, Cherie. Okay, so on that fun note, just for a bit of context on our testing, what we've done for our testing is we've connected the panels to two panels to a Fox Micro. So it's the same inverter, and basically we've got MPPT1 and MPP2, and we're looking at the monitoring here on MPPT1 and MPP2, where we can see a clear differentiation between the two MPPTs. So the panels are at exactly the same angle, connected on the same inverter, and we're getting 7% more power for the same investment as using a traditional solar panel. And that's got me so super excited. This next evolution from a world-class manufacturer is going to be changing all of our lives. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining in, and let's go, Aiko!